Good afternoon. I'm Caitlin Matson. This is the Green Room, and I am joined today by Carmen Lemoine, who is the principal flautist with the Wichita Symphony Orchestra, professor of music at Wichita State University, and also a freelance musician gigging all around, and is also the director of in the past couple of years, newly formed Wichita Flute Ensemble, a community flute ensemble. Welcome, Carmen.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. I'm very happy to be here today.
How long have you been a professor at Wichita State? How long have you lived in Wichita?
I moved here in the summer of 2016 from San Francisco, where I was just a full-time freelancer, teacher. I was living that life, the gig life. I still have one of my contracts out there with the Santa Rosa Symphony that I fly out there every so often to fulfill, and I was very happy to get the job here in 2016.
You have been with the symphony ever since you came. What is it like making the transition from that gig life, living out of a suitcase, trying to figure out your next gig, to something where you have a built-in contract with the symphony, when you accepted your contract with the university. What is it like kind of making that transition to something that's just a bit more stable?
Well, it's not too different. I suppose I have more evenings free because the evenings are when most orchestras or regional orchestras rehearse. So I have more of my nights free. I get most of my work done during the day now, and it is nice having my weekends open, except for when the symphony performs. So I do appreciate that. That's a nice perk of the job, and benefits. Benefits are good.
Benefits are good. Benefits, it's like a gigging musician's dream.
Yes,
What a
and
good
free
benefits
food.
package.
And free food. We'll do anything for
Yes.
free food practically.
So you started the Wichita Flute Ensemble a few years ago.
Yes, yeah. It's been a really wonderful experience. I didn't ever think, to be honest, that flute choir would come to hold a special place in my heart. Because I feel like, when you think about groups of instruments like a cello choir, that's a much more beautiful sound.
Flute
But
choir just reminds me of band camp.
right, yeah, and but it's been a truly exciting experience for me. I'm conducting the flute choir, so that's a new skill set I've had to sort of develop and
Mhm.
practice, and it's also allowed me to be able to take the group to things like the National Flute Association's annual convention, like I did this past August, which was held in Chicago. And we just had a wonderful time there, and the students, and it's actually open to students and all the way up to adults and professionals. So it's a wide range of abilities and ages, and we laugh a lot. We talk flute, of course, and
Mhm.
but it's just a really delightful part of my life now.
So do you have most age groups represented in your choir?
We most of them this year. I'm trying something new where I'd like to get some seventh and eighth grade flutists to join, and if I have enough of them, we'll have a specific little flute choir for them because they're generally just beginners, and so but they often don't get that chance to play what is essentially chamber music with their peers. When you're in the middle school, you're mostly just playing in band class, and that's about it. And you may not have the opportunity to build community with your fellow flute players, and that's really what the Wichita Flute Ensemble. The best part about it is the community that we were creating among each other in Wichita.
You're preparing a recital for the community for, well, it's a faculty artist recital, part of the
Yes.
faculty artist series at Wichita State University, and that is coming up on, is it September the 14th still?
No, actually, it was changed to September 17th.
September
Um,
the 17th in
September
Wiedemann.
the 17th, yes. So that's a Saturday. I think I changed it because my parents couldn't come to the original date. So yes, it's Saturday at 3 p.m. at Wiedemann Hall. And it's always great to play in that space. It's a beautiful space. And it will be one of the shorter programs I've done because it's so early in the year. You know, I generally take summers a little bit easy, but it's all new rep for me.
Mm.
And I'm very excited. I'm going to have a pianist from Oklahoma join me, Jake Johnson. He teaches at Oklahoma City University. And I'm having my teacher from high school, Dr. Valerie Watts, who is also the flute professor at University of Oklahoma. She will be joining me on a piece by Yuko Uebayashi. And then I'm also having a dear, dear friend, Rosemary Chisholm, who some of the listeners may know. She is based in Wichita. She's a pianist, and she'll be joining me on one piece. So it's got some friends on it, and it's an interesting program. And when I was making it, I didn't realize that 3 out of the 4 pieces are by women. So
Ah, we love that.
yeah, and they're all. I think all of the composers are living composers today.
Mm. We'll be back to talk more with Carmen Lemoine about being a flautist, about playing with the symphony, about her life as a professor at Wichita State University. We're going to hear a bit of music composed for flute. This is Cecile Chaminade's Concertino for Flute and Orchestra. This is Susan Milan. We'll be right back. That was Susan Milan on the flute, a performance of Cecile Chaminade's Concertino for Flute and Orchestra. I'm Caitlin Matson, and this is The Green Room. I'm joined by principal flute player from the Wichita Symphony Orchestra, Carmen Lemoine, who is also the professor of flute from Wichita State University and directs the Wichita Community Flute Choir. Did you always know you wanted to be an orchestral musician?
No. I remember in the 6th grade, you know, we had a project like, you know, pick a career and do a report on it. And I chose interior design, which is kind of hilarious because looking at my house, I don't think you would know that. um, but my older sister plays cello currently, but before she played cello, she played flute. And so we had a flute in the house when it was time for me to, you know, start band in 6th grade. And so I just kind of chose it out of convenience and then just excelled at it, you know. And then I started private lessons. And in high school, that's when I made the decision that I wanted to major in flute. Oklahoma has a summer arts institute, and so I got into that and did that for a few summers, and that's really what solidified my desire to play the flute for a living.
Do you have certain orchestral pieces just because of the nature of the excerpts for flute where you see it, show up on your repertoire list or on your stand in front of you and you are like, you salivate. I cannot wait. Thank goodness I get to play this again.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to play Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe a few years ago in the Wichita Symphony, and that is a piece that I just really adore. It's got this fantastic, sumptuous, luxurious flute solo in the middle of it that you can just really, it showcases a lot of the flute's assets like colors and tones
Mm.
and musicianship, artistry. And I mean, it's the rest of the piece is very challenging, but it's all worth it. I feel like to play that one solo just really, it touches my heart. And it's the same thing with Debussy's Afternoon of a Faun, Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun, and also very challenging in some different ways. But from start to finish, that piece just is an
Mm.
astounding monument to the potential of human beings, I think.
Mm. I love that. When you aren't playing classical music, when your life isn't, 20 hours a day steeped in classical music, what do you listen to?
Oh, I don't listen to classical music. Let's see here. Some things that are on my Spotify right now would
Oh, yeah.
be some 80s tunes that I grew up with. my mother always listened to the oldie station when she was getting ready for work and when she would drive in the car. So I have a lot of affinity for the old tunes from the 1950s and 60s, and I can sing at least the chorus to most of those tunes. And so let's see, from recent, I mean, I really do love Lizzo. I love the
Yes.
messages in her music. You
Yes,
know.
we've started playing Lizzo. I have young
Oh, really?
daughters. I've had
Yeah.
young daughters, and there are certainly Lizzo pieces that are appropriate for their age group. It's very empowering. I mean,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
just let it play freely.
Yeah, and that's kind of like her life. She just lives freely and
And she's a flute player.
and of course she's a flute player and
Can you
she's
give us drop some Lizzo knowledge on us about her history about being a concert flautist?
well, I some of the only things I know really is that I think she went to the University of Houston as a flute major, and when she really hit it big a few years ago, through Facebook, I saw some old pictures of her like playing in marching band and
Yes.
before she was famous, and so she went through all of that just like the rest of us music majors did. So
Yeah.
um, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I don't listen to classical music when I'm just, taking a walk in the neighborhood.
You are human.
I am.
Yes. Yes. Carmen's recital is September the 17th in Wiedemann Hall. If any of you have a history playing the flute, even if it was just, for a couple years in high school, she has the newly formed in the past couple of years Wichita Flute Ensemble. And you have a website with the information about that flute ensemble. Is that the easiest place to go to read about it?
The easiest place to go actually is on social media, on Instagram at Flute Shocks, and it's the word flute and then SHOX, Flute Shocks, and also on Facebook. We have some information there. You can contact me through Instagram and Facebook, and I'll give you more details. But essentially, we rehearse every other Sunday night around 6:30 p.m. and we have a good time. So our next rehearsal is September 18th.
Carmen, thank you for coming on and being a guest on the Green Room. It was fun talking to you. And you're gearing up for your Wichita Symphony season with a couple of exciting
Yes.
things. Kristen Chenoweth, do you get to play on that concert?
Yes, I
All right.
do. And it's my mom's birthday, so I bought her a ticket.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, have a really great semester and a good start to the symphony season.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yes.